Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about today's beginning of the E Jean Carroll versus Donald Trump trial, which I think is the most ominous and consequential date with accountability that Donald Trump has had yet. We've been tending to lump all these different threats together and in some ways privilege the criminal cases, and there's reason to do that, but none of them has come close to fruition, to a judgment, and there is charges now in one, but it has a very long way to go. This trial figures to take less than 2 weeks and to result in a really emphatic verdict, and one that goes to most of the nastiest aspects of Trump as president. Not exactly Trump as seditious conspirator, but Trump as liar, Trump as sexual predator, Trump as bully, Trump as coward will all be on vivid display and will all likely just repulse the jury. Okay, to double back just a little. E. Jean Carroll, a journalist who says that Trump sexually assaulted her, I think raped her, in a dressing room of a department store in the early 90s. But she kept the assault to herself, although she told a couple friends about it at the time. Then it came out during the Trump presidency, and Trump conveniently, in his gentlemanly way, said, A, it never happened and she's a liar, and B, she's not my type, and just opened the door for a defamation lawsuit, which she brought. That suit, in turn, got caught up in the question, the sort of constitutional law question: was Trump acting in the scope of his employment as president when he defamed her? Doesn't sound as if he was, but it's a very wide scope, and it matters because it meant that the Department of Justice comes in to defend him, and for arcane reasons that the suit would have gone away. The William Barr Justice Department took that position, and the Merrick Garland Justice Department perpetuated it after the change in administration. That is still being caught up in litigation involving the Second Circuit, New York, where the events took place, and the DC Circuit, and it's all being worked out. No matter, because Trump very conveniently re-defamed her after he was president, after he had left office, said all the same things again under a situation where he has no possible immunity. And moreover, New York, in recognition not just of E. Jean Carroll, but many, many victims of sexual assault, enacted a special law permitting people to sue on sexual assault charges that had long since passed the statute of limitations, opening a 1-year window to do it. That E. Jean Carroll and her very formidable, very sophisticated, very tough and aggressive lawyer came right in and sued. So that is the lawsuit that begins today in New York federal court. Now, it gets so much worse for Trump so quickly. The basic case for E. Jean Carroll: she'll testify the things that happened. She'll put on the two friends whom she confided in at the time to rebut any sense that she's made it all up. And under special rules of evidence that apply in sexual assault cases, she persuaded the judge to bring in testimony of two of the, I think there's 46 46 alleged victims of sexual assault by Trump, but two of them bear real similarities to what happened here. One of them for sure, and one they may fight about. But so those people will come and testify about other sexual assaults that Trump did, which, it's not supposed to be used by the jury to say, oh, he did it before and he might do, so of course he did it this time. But it's pretty hard to prevent that inference, so it's really killer testimony. And what else does E. Jean Carroll proffer? The accessed Hollywood tape that brought the whole problem and the focus on Trump as sexual predator in the first place. She's gotten permission to play that tape. So that is just, oh, and by the way, it's a civil case. She just has to prove it by a preponderance of the evidence. Doesn't have to be beyond a reasonable doubt. And so she is just armed to the max. What does Trump have? It looks as if he has two possible witnesses. One is Donald Trump. And I've explained before how that's basically out of the question, and especially here. E. Jean Carroll's lawyer would just mop up the floor with him. And the only other person on the witness list is some expert who may try to rebut the notion of E. Jean Carroll's ongoing damage, difficulty in relationships, etc., because that goes to the question of the amount of damages. So a pitiful kind of, water pistol against a howitzer. And what else do we know? It looks as if Trump won't be appearing. He wanted the jury to be told it's because he's too worried about visiting logistical difficulties on the people of New York. The judge said, no, I'm not going to say that. You can show up if you want or not if you want. There's going to be an empty chair for most of the trial. Maybe all of it, because he has to come if he's called to testify. But guess what? E. Jean Carroll will not call him to testify because she's got his deposition that he can use. And I don't think his defense attorney, who is something of a brute, not very smooth, I think will be thoroughly outclassed by E. Jean Carroll's. It would be completely foolhardy to call him. So we're talking about, the pieces arrayed like, in a chessboard, with her having everything and his having a couple pawns. This could be a real, not just the verdict itself for her, but the kind of public statement, establishing the what many people have alleged for years, coming very close to establishing and making a big payday against him, besides that he is, all these things, and that he assaulted her in 1991. Okay, stay tuned. I think this will be a really big one. I'll be covering it a lot, and maybe sort of day to day. So until not very long from now, talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.